Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, guys. It's your girl, Brandy J, rocking again on the ones and twos on Intellectual Radio, Brandy J, the Alchemist. And as always, today's show is brought to you by True Essence. We are a unique spiritual spa located primarily online. You can find us on IG, that's Brandy 3 Ys J. All of our products. The link is in a bio. Please support your girl. Is greatly appreciated. So back again another Wednesday with you guys. Let me adjust my mic real quick. All right, we good. So with that being said, last week we spoke about the pursuit of happiness, right? We spoke all about how to check your energetic field, how to remain in a happy place by what disconnecting from others, by reading, by meditating, by being conscious of who you're around, what you're speaking, what you're thinking, just giving life force. So, with that being said, we are definitely switching gears this week. We're going to be talking all about mind control and everything related to it, right? So, with that being said, I actually watched this great, awesome movie. Hope you guys watched it on Netflix. It's called Tyrone got cloned, or I believe they cloned Tyrone. Thank you so much. So, with that being said, we're going to touch on some of the things and the topics that they brought up to play in the movie, and we're going to correlate it to what we've been talking about on the show and just show you a little bit on what's going on behind the veil, right? So in this movie, they touched on everything. They touched on mind control. They touched on genetic modified food. They touched on frequency manipulation. They touched on cloning. They touched on underground testing labs and sensors. They touched on DNA manipulation and even sex trafficking, right? So essentially, the movie opened up with the gentleman Tyrone being in a hood, right? He's a known hood drug dealer and he's living out his mundane life, right? And with that being said, he gets shot. He gets shot and he wakes up. He wakes up and he's unaware of why he's conscious at this point because he realized he had died. And everyone that was around him when he died, like, hey, bro, we know we shot you. You should be dead. So now this actually begins the trip into the rabbit hole, going into Alex land, right? So in doing that, they went into a facility inside one of the communities. And in that, they found that there was an elevator, guys, an elevator, right? So in this elevator, they went down into this facility and they saw cloning labs. So I know for some people, cloning sounds very abstract, and we're going to dig into the science of it and momentarily. I just want to kind of give you a quick synopsis of the movie so you can along with me as far as how this thing is going. So you can understand and understand how the elite is manipulating the reality. Last week, I spoke a lot about the matrix and how it isn't real and how this reality is being, we're in light cold lockdown, right? We hear this a lot, but really, we're going to put the pieces to the puzzle together today with the help of that movie. And I don't believe by chance it was a coincidence with how this movie came out and then coincidentally Jamie Foxx having some type of illness and disappearing and then coming back on the scene. When you watch the movie, in fact, to the end, Jamie Foxx actually fakes his death. Oh, for those who watched it, if you haven't, you're going to actually run and watch it. He faked his death because he was basically used his clone to fake his death to be able to move through the matrix and reopen, right? So basically the whole movie was about them discovering a system of scientists, a system of police officers, a system of so many people and so many elitists involved with underground sex trafficking and manipulating the DNA. I think one part in the movie that I'm sure we all seen in snippets was when they were at the restaurant eating chicken, right? And this was after they seen a cloning facility. They couldn't even, they had went into the rabbit hole, right? That's just like when you wake up, your consciousness is awoken and you hear certain things and you're getting into that rabbit hole. It's a deep place. You don't want to believe some of the things that you're hearing. It sounds abstract. It sounds leery. So that's how they were. So they said, hey, you know what? We might be tripping. Let's just go eat some chicken, right? They go to the chicken place and he notices it's music playing and people just, they just eating chicken. They just enjoying it. And he just has an epiphany or a download. I say that a lot on this show. He had a download. The download was they is putting this stuff in the chicken. They're genetically modifying food. And then the music that they had in playing in the restaurant was actually tempering with the frequency of the mind. The people started acting crazy or they were laughing. The food and the music was manipulating the people. So Jamie Foxx's character brought that to light, right? So this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to open up with MLK mind control. Because when they went down into the facility, guys, in this movie, they saw a lot of testing labs. They had our people, nothing but black people, our melanated people in these labs testing them, whether they had stuff around their head and they was testing them on music, they was testing their mind, testing them on drugs, different psychedelics, all of that. We're used as a test bait for most of their scientific studies. And I'm going to show you and break that down, but we're first going to begin with MLK mind control. So ultimately, it is a project illegal human experimentation program designed by the U.S. Intelligence Agency, right? It was intended to develop procedures and identify drugs that could be used during interrogations to weaken and force the people of confessions. Essentially, it was brainwashing, right? So MLK, if you guys haven't already heard of it, please Google it, research, and understand what that is about. The CIA, they began the secret program called the MK mind control to search for mind control drugs that would weaponize against people, right? This is before they started putting drugs in our community. This is what Tupac and the Black talking about. They were already doing it. They were already doing it. Think about it. The elite, they're already ahead of the game. They're sitting down at the round table having discussions about us on what they're going to do decades and hundreds of years in advance. So we're jet lag in a sense. This is why I got to bring us up to speed. And I'm not the only one doing it. In fact, you're doing it. Just by sitting here listening to me and spreading the gospel, right? You're raising the awareness, the consciousness of not just yourself, but the others around you. And it's so essential. Oh my gosh, it's so essential. And I believe that that movie came out at such a good time because, again, I'm not sure who directed it, but they hit on every point that is affecting us in our community, right? It's affecting us in our community. So now that we understand everything that's going on in the elite, one, you got to understand that there's three main characters in this movie, right? And in this movie, you have Jamie Foxx as really who he's playing in real life. Y'all gonna understand that when y'all see the movie, what's really going on. They're telling you what's going on. In this matrix, they're controlling your air, they're controlling your food, they're controlling your water, they're controlling your television, they're controlling your sounds. How are they controlling your sounds? To what you're listening to. The frequency of the music. They even showed you that in the movie. They were able to mind control people in the clubs to get them to shoot and kill and do all type of stuff. The CIA. This is what MK Ultra mind control was about, right? You got to think about it. Their whole reality is based off of infrastructure that only serves them. Think about that. It does not serve us. It wasn't created for us. In fact, it has nothing to do with black and white at this point. It's about the one percenters against everybody at this juncture in the road. It truly is. The CIA, the FBI, your world governments, your NASA, your so-called elite, your royal families, like your Rockefellers and whomever else, your world religion councils, your so-called Jews, your scientists, and even some of your celebrities. Yes, they are all a part of the gamut. They are all a part of what's going on behind the veil. And the veil has to be revealed now because now we're in the Aquarian age, right? The sun is heating up, photons, and people are more in tune with how to take care of their body, how to take care of their mental, how to take care of their consciousness, understanding the deep science and the deep metaphysics of life and how we are galactical beings. This stuff is really coming more prevalent now. So they can't really mask that anymore. So it's like now they have to kind of expose themselves. They have to come out and tell us essentially what's going on, what they're doing. That's like with Balenciaga. That's no secret. Those type of brands, they've been doing things like that. They've been doing things like that. So we have to understand they're all in bed together. In one part of the movie, they went into the church, right? And in the church, they saw a CIA agent badge. You guys gonna see this. And they was like, what is doing in here? And they go and swipe it across the wall, a whole another door opens up, right? And it's another tunnel leading into underground, right? leading into the underground. So what I took from that, because everything is not literal, guys, everything is kind of like symbolic and metaphysic. So essentially what they were saying with that scene is that the church has been in bed with the government. Your so-called pastors, not saying all of them, no, not at all. But some of the pastors have been in bed with the government, been in bed with all of these different people. That's why they're getting the tax breaks. That's why they're getting the funding. That's why they're getting this and getting that. There's incentives for this for them to take a deal. Again, the devil even tempted Jesus. He took him up to the mountain and waited for him to be starving and tempted him. So do you not think our people, our pastors, and these celebrities are not brought with a plan? Yeah, they're tempted, and most of them do go. Some of them don't, right? So we got to understand that this reality that was created was not created with us in mind, that this matrix, this paradigm is created for them. So with that being said, we have to strip that away. And essentially, that's what they did in the movie. At the end of the movie, he brought the whole hood out. Everybody like, what is you talking about? People on the ground, manipulation, cloning. No, but at the end, people understood what was going on. The whole hood came together and debunked this whole thing. And we're going to do that on a scientifical and metaphysical level. We don't have to get no picket fence and no signs. We ain't got to go riot. We ain't got to go do this to do that. I'm telling y'all, all of which we need to do moving into the future, moving into the golden age is really mental. Everything is mental now. If you are not doing the work, meaning the things that I speak about constantly on this show, if you are not doing the work, it's going to show. And I'm going to say that again. If you are not doing the work in this time, it's going to reflect in your energy. People are going to be able to pick it up in your energetic code. And it's just going to be certain things that you're going to be you're not going to have access to, so to speak. So we have to prepare now. It is spiritual warfare. Right? It's spiritual warfare. It's been going on, but it's more prevalent at this point in matter, right? So we got to understand eugenics and cloning go together, right? So for those who are not familiar with eugenics, and I'm going to spell that out for some who need it, that is EUGENICS. Again, that's EUGENICS. Eugenics is the study of how to arrange reproduction within a human population to increase the occurrence of characteristics, right? Developed largely by a gentleman named Francis Galton, right? So what is eugenics in its simplest terms? Let's say this. Eugenics worldwide believe that they could perfect human beings and eliminate so-called social illness through genetics and hereditary genes. They believe the use of methods such as involuntary sterilization, segregation, social inclusion, all of that will help them with their whole thing. So this is a scientific thing. Understand that this is spiritual warfare. They're going against your DNA. I've been telling you that, and I'm going to keep saying it. And this, and what I'm about to break down, is about to prove that. Everything is about the attack of your DNA, because your genetics, your light codes. Your light codes is within your DNA, and that's what they want to attack. So that's what eugenics was created for. And you want to know when that happened? 1800s. 1800s, y'all. And it's still going on today. In fact, it's more prevalent now because science has obviously just expanded. Technology has expanded. And guess what? It's so much technology that we are even aware of. We only get a smidget of the technology that's actually available. And that's a fact. All right. So understand that this stuff is, that's why I said when the elite, when they sit down, when they took our likeness, when they took our history, when they took our knowledge of selves, our science, all our everything, our sacred things, when they took that from us, they perverted it and they used it for their own selfish gains and then cast a spell. They cast a spell. That's what that movie, that's why y'all gotta watch it. I love it. I'm gonna keep raving about it. It was telling you that they were casting a spell on a people, that we are under some type of hypnosis, some type of mind control. Our people, you go back to the 1800s, to even the early 1900s, we wasn't going around shooting and raping and doing all of this. Come on. Come on. You can't tell me this ain't scientific. Why are all these people, they paying all these scientists in the coat labs studying you? Why is it that it's blood banks everywhere in the minority communities? Think about that. They ain't got it out there with Bob and Sue because their genetics don't have much. They already, they can't have fun with it. Our genetics is infinite. Guys, our genetics is infinite. That means that it's no limit to what they can discover. It's no limit to the diseases that they can cure. There's no limit to what they can do with our genetics. We keep this matrix going. That's why it's important we debunk them. I'm not saying that this reality isn't per se real. It's the reality that they created. This matrix that they created is not real. It's an assimilation. Okay, and we got to understand that on a deeper level, because it's time now. And these next few episodes, guys, I'm going to be diving very deeply. This last year was just kind of like, okay, but we got to get there. We got to get there. We got to talk about the deeper things. Now, watching a movie like that is a good segue to getting into those deeper thoughts, right? So you got to understand that eugenics was created to manipulate the genes of people that a certain type of people, like black people, couldn't populate. This is why you have Planned Parenthood that came out. Planned Parenthood and eugenics, they go together, guys. They're both in bed together. All of it is, again, about population control, forced sterilization, right? If somebody's slow or whatever they consider slow to be, they will automatically sterilize them. The government, and you can Google these articles, all of this is available for everybody. They literally had control to basically say, hey, if a person is redeemed mentally ill or whatnot, we have the control to sterilize them. They just stopped that in 1964. So this is just recent. This is just recent, guys. This stuff is going on. In 1927, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that forced sterilization of the handicapped does not violate the U.S. Constitution, right? Right? We got to understand what's going on. Eugenics, birth control, Planned Parenthood, they're all the same. Planned Parenthood was created by Margaret Sanger. She first started with the birth control, which again wasn't even popular in the early 1900s. Nobody was doing that. And then they moved on to abortions and things of that nature, because again they start messing with the scientists. You want to know who's paying the scientists? Your elitists. Yes, that's who's able to cut the scientist check, and they get paid good. So imagine what these elite are getting paid. The 1% is what's paying them to study you, to keep you on light code lockdown or in the matrix. So I say to you, to this, red pill, blue pill, what would you like? Do you want to be awakened, or do you want to go back to sleep? If you want to stay asleep, gladly turn the channel. But if you want to wake up, this is what we about to do. From here on out, we going deep. I want you guys to know that cloning, right? What cloning is about, because they touched on that in the movie. I know, again, that's abstract for some of us to understand that. But cloning, they've been doing that to our food. Ain't no way you guys believe that we is eating that much chicken. That is that much chicken out here in this world. You going to Wingstop, and every time you go 3 days a week, you ordering all flats. Ain't no way it's all flats. Even Cat Williams even said it on as a joke on his comedy show. He said it as a joke, but he's like keeping it real with y'all. He's keeping it a buck. Ain't no way. They've been cloning the animals. They told you that. That's in the CIA unclassified documents. A lot of this stuff we can research because it's readily available, right? The whole purpose is to have control over this matrix, right? So some of the cloning techniques scientists use is exact genetic copies of living things. They clone genes, they clone cells, tissues, and even whole animals. Yeah, that chicken you eating. That's why they said in the movie, it's in the chicken. And listen, y'all, I'm not listening because I love my Uncle Rima. So listen, I'm healing. I'm healing, y'all. I'm with you. So don't feel bad. I'm healing. But my thing is, we have to be first consciously aware of it. Discipline. This is why we spoke about that in the previous shows. All of that, it was a leeway into these deeper conversations. Because if you know how to discipline yourself, if you're meditating, you're actually doing the work, some of these things that we're talking about, it's not going to seem abstract or feel like you can't, like you're overwhelmed by it. Like, oh, the government's out to get me and I'm not going to live. No, you are living. The Most High God is with you. You are a child of the Most High. You are, man, you are inherited to this earth. This earth is yours. I'm telling you that. And that's a well-known fact. You have a birthright. You have a true divine birthright. And you have to understand that. And that's why we talked about the Akashic records, the previous shows, because the Akashic records is a part of your divine birthright, right? When you understand that and you tap into that frequency, you can actually tap into your higher self. Even in that movie, going back to it again, at the end, Tyrone met his highest self. He wasn't even a real Tyrone the whole time. He was the clone. He thought he was a real person. That's the same thing with the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He thought he was a real person. What I'm trying to tell y'all guys is that cloning and all these things with your DNA is going on at this very moment. It's nothing to get scared about. It's nothing to go and cry about. It's something to do, right? All of this is taking place. There are three different types of cloning again, right? You got your gene cloning, you got your reproductive cloning, and you got your therapeutic cloning, right? So all of that is a part of the eugenics codes. Eugenics is the attempt to improve human beings, not by improving their economic and or social and or educational standing, right? They want to control you, right? Your social standing got to be here. Your economics got to be, everything got to be low in order for our policy or our thing to roll and carry out all the way through. We already set this in place, and I'll be darned if Tyrone gonna get in the way. No, Tyrone, you gonna do what we told you to do. And I'm telling you, that stuff is over. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to awaken ourselves and get into a higher self. So I'm not going to continue to talk too much because I feel like I dived a little deep. And I just want you guys to know that the best way to trick the enemy is first by starting with yourself. First, by building the wealth around you and not being in fear. You have some people that's building bunkers right now. You got some people that's doing all of this crazy stuff. I'm trying to tell you, if you don't get in tune with your higher self, you got some people that's doing all of this crazy stuff. I'm trying to tell you, if you don't get in tune with your higher self, if you don't start eating correctly, working out, meditating, doing all the things that you need to do, it don't matter all the bunkers. You can build all the bunkers in the world. This is metaphysical now. All of this is spiritual now. And Mother Spirit has spoken. Mother Earth is tired of the going on. She ain't going. Mother Earth ain't going no more. She's pled her case. So it's time for the elite and anyone that's about that elitist lifestyle to go. And we're going to continue to debunk this reality and unlock the codes. But before we start digging deep, let's start with ourselves first, right? We got to start with ourselves first. So I want you guys to understand that cloning and eugenics and all these things are not far-fetched. I want us to start to study these things, and I definitely want you guys to at least research that. Go under the CIA, go under some of the unclassified documents and start reading some of the studies that these people have been doing. Why are they conducting these studies? What are these studies for? What did they gather, or what did they gather in these studies? What type of analysis did they gather? Who did they study? Did they study us? Because like in the movie, when they went down on the ground, they were studying us. When you go to Walmart, you see the missing kids, it's mainly us and brown people. I don't see too many white people missing. Nah, that's us missing. And where are all these kids and these people going? Sex trafficking and all this stuff do not get to be a billion-dollar industry unless you got your elitists, your politicians, and some of your celebrities participating in it. And that's a fact. We simply just don't have enough money to be doing all of that. It's a billion-dollar industry. That means that your top people are are involved in it. They're involved in it. And what are they doing? What are they doing with us? What are they studying? What do they need to know? They are too on light code lockdown. We are on a temporary light code lockdown. You see how that go? We are on a temporary light code lockdown. Why? Because we are conscious light beings. We come from the Creator. God so raw broke himself down in all these different particles to experience himself through me, you, all these different people. But not everybody comes from the Creator. You have the Prince of Darkness, all right? We live in this duality, y'all. Y'all got to understand this, and I'm going to wrap it up, right? For in the duality, this reality we live in, for every good, there's a bad, right? For hot, there's a cold. For up, there's a down. For left, there's a right. You feel what I'm saying? There's a polarity. So if there's angels and you are considered to be an angel of light coming down to earth to experience, there's also angels of darkness coming down to assert your energy. And how do they assert your energy? Oh, by keeping you in fear, by telling you this is going on and the boogeyman is coming to get you. No, the boogeyman is what you create in your mind and what you believe. And that is why we got to unlock these codes within the mind so we can start to see who we truly are. So with that being said, guys, I'm wrapping it up for the day. Definitely felt like we touched on a lot of great things. I thank you guys so much for tuning in to me. I know today's show was just a little abstract, but I appreciate you guys flowing with me. Until next time, love, peace, and light, people. Thank you so much for watching.